Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwotpathyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om. Salutations to all. So we have seen in this Canto 6, the fourth discourse, how Daksha Prajapati, to take the secondary creation forward, he does the Hamsa Guhya Stuti. Bhagavan manifests and blesses him and tells him that he should marry this daughter of Panchajana, who is a Prajapati, and the name of the daughter is Asikni, and through her the progeny has to be brought forth, and they get married, procreate, and so the chapter 4 ends there. So chapter 5 now, when Bhagwan's Ashirwad was attained, then Shukadevji continues, Tasyam sapancha janyam vai Vishnu mayo pabrahmhitaha haryashvasanyanayutam putran ajanayad vibhuhu. So now, because of the power of Bhagwan's Maya, Daksha, through Panchajani, Panchajani's daughter is Panchajani, which is Asikni. He brings forth 10,000 sons known as Haryashvas. Now these Haryashvas, they are the sons of Daksha and Asikni. Daksha tells them that you go ahead and now it is your responsibility to bring this creation forward. Meaning procreate more, have more children. So now what did they do? They went in the westerly direction. Praja Sarge Pratichim Prayayur Disham. Pratichi is the western direction. So they went in that western direction. And where did they go? Narayana Tirtha, Narayana Sarovar. Tatra Narayana Saras Tirtham Sindhu Samudrayoho. Where the Sindhu river meets the Samudra, there the Narayana Sarovar. Narayana Sarovar mean the same. And there they start doing tapasya. And this is a place where many siddhas and sages, etc., they come there. And it's a very sacred place. So, what makes a place a tirtha sthan? Tiryate anayati tirtham, that by which one crosses over the sins, the negative tendencies, is called as a tirtha. Any place cannot become a tirtha. Bhagwan would have manifested there, saints, sages, siddhas would have done tapasya there. So many reasons will be there for a place to be tirtha. And the effect of that tirtha will be what? The sins of a person, that which effortlessly destroys the sins of a being and also generates punya. That place is called as a tirtha. And so we should know that. And these tirthas are mentioned in our scriptures, that which places are called as tirtha sthan. Any place doesn't become Tirthasthan. And the king of all these Tirthas is Prayagraj. The prime minister of all the Tirthas is Kashi. The guru of all the Tirthas is Pushkar. And all the Tirthas are they have presiding deities. So during Kumbh it is said 33 crore Tirthas are there in Bharat. The devatas of all these Tirthas come to Tirthraj Prayag. Today is the Magh Purnima. Kumbh Yoga will end today. Astrologically, because Jupiter will now move into the Kumbh Rashi, into the next Rashi. Jupiter is in Vrish Rashi or Mesh Rashi. That time when Surya is in Makara and Chandra also is in Makara, that time Kumbh, that's called Kumbh Yoga. So Tirtha is a place which will destroy the sins. Now see, we have to understand one more point. This Punya and Papa is Adrishta Phala. It is not known by us. It is not visible to us. It is not tangible. It is not something which is gross. It is a karma phala of our karmas based on our intention, based on karta bhav, based on what we have done, whether that karma is dharmic, adharmic. And so the uh, recognition of punya and papa, we know their existence also because of Shastra only. Without the description of the Shastra, we will not even know that there is something called punya and papa. And what leads to punya, what leads to papa, also the scripture says. And what will generate punya and what will destroy papa, also the scripture says. So if the Shastra says that you go to such and such place and you do the Tirtha Snan there, or you just have darshan of that place, or even you touch the mud of that sacred Tirtha, your papa will be destroyed. Then it will be destroyed. If one says कि ऐसा थोड़ी होता है, कर्म का सिद्धांत है, अगर ऐसा होता तो people would have done enough papa, go and take a dubki and then destroy the papa and then you do new papa. This and all so-called logical people and so-called intellectuals talk like this. Shastra is very clear on this. It is not that one can go there and all the sins are destroyed to do new sins. Then the sins don't get destroyed. But if the Shastra is saying that the sins get destroyed, they get destroyed. That Shraddha one has to have in the Shastra, because what is not tangible, visible to the senses or to the mind, what is the valid proof of that? Shastra is the valid proof for that. Dharma jignasamananam pramanam paramam shrutihi. Manusmriti says that. Those who want to know what is dharma and adharma, dharma and adharma is not tangibly visible. Then what is the praman? Shruti is the praman. Shastra is the praman. And if the Shruti is saying that this is what will destroy the sins, it will destroy the sins. So one has to go with that Shraddha. Otherwise, don't accept only the existence of sin and merit. Then why are you bothered? Then live life whichever way you want. But if I accept that no, Papa and Punya exists, who told you Papa and Punya exists? Shastra told you Papa and Punya exists. What leads to Papa and what leads to Punya? Who told you? Shastra told you. This much you are accepting. But when the Shastra says you come here and if you take a dip here, your Papa will get destroyed, I don't accept that. Then selectively I am choosing. How? Without Shastra, Punya Papa's existence only we will not know. Swamiji, so many people they don't know whether life is still going on. It is going on. That's the whole point. It's just going on. Purpose of life is not to go on. Purpose of life is to evolve. Purpose of life is to apply vivek, to understand, oh, this is going to lead to papa, this is leading to punya. And the result also of that papa and punya one sees. Whatever we have in life today is because of the punya and papa combination only. Past karma. And what we will do today will create my future. That Swatantrata also Bhagavan has given. Freedom is there, Purushartha one can do. All that I am ready to accept, but certain parts I don't want to accept. How that will work? And so Shraddha is very important there. Because then it will create that conducive attitude, which will help me to evolve. When we say my sins are destroyed, I am a different person, then I will live the higher way of life. And don't think that it is all only psychological, it is all just created to make people follow morality. So many countless sadhus, sannyasis, mahatmas, jivan muktas have realized this, and they have what you call as they are the evidence, a proof of this. This cannot be explained by science. And if one is stuck with that, saying everything has to be scientifically proved and experienced, then you stay at this level only. Because science only talks about gross world. Beyond that, it can't talk anything. This is all adrishta. This is in the subtle realms. Science can't even tell you about 5 subtle elements. Forget punya and papa, which is the result of the mind and the karma and so many other factors. What will science tell? It has its utility value in the gross world. Beyond that, nothing. अब वहीं पे अटके रहेंगे तो अटके रहो. Spirituality begins where science will end. Means what? Sthula Jagat is the grossest form. So Punya and Papa. I am saying all this because this comes here now. And also so many people who have gone to Kumbh, and I am seeing so many reels and all that coming up, appearing very intellectual, saying कि ऐसा थोड़ी होता है, पुण्य पाप नष्ट नहीं होता है. Just that you go there and you see the energy, the environment, and you feel so inspired that now you will be a transformed person, and new papa you will not do. But existing papa will not be destroyed. What nonsense. Why are you even spreading this kind of wrong notion? When the Shastra is saying it will destroy, it will destroy. You have not opened the Shastra and read. So many Mahatmas are talking about it, their experience, it is all that one is dismissing in so-called rational thinking, which will appeal to the modern youngsters. Are time-tested wisdom, you can present it in an inspiring way for people to understand as per changing times. But you can't compromise with the main principle. What is the use of going to Prayagraj then? If one is saying, punya will not be generated, papa will not get destroyed, just that you feel different now. That I can feel here also. No, energy is there different. That's why. Okay, then that energy is not there here. Now what will happen to my mind? Only for that much time that energy will remain, na Kumbh energy. So that all is very limited thinking. One has not thought through and not studied the scripture or understood what it is saying. Here Bhagavatam says that these children, they went, 10,000 children of Daksha Prajapati, they went to the Narayana Sara, and what is written there? Tadupasparshanadeva vinirdhuta malashayaha. Look at that. There he says so clearly that merely by taking a bath in that, tad upasparshanad eva, just by taking bath there, not only their mind was cleansed of all the impurities in form of raga and dvesha and all this papa karma and everything, but dharme paramahamsyecha protpannam atayopyuta. the desire for this, to walk the highest path walked by the ascetics, Paramahansiya Dharme. What is the way in which the Paramahamsas live with great level of vairagya? Even that desire came. Now, how will that desire come unless the mind is not purified? Now, if somebody asks a question that, oh, Swamiji, but how did they have papa karma? They are just born now. Are no jiva has first janma like this. Past karmas, they are there in earlier cycles of creation also, they must have been there. And now through Daksha Prajapati, they are born. Jiva is anadi. Jiva does not have a beginning. So even these 10,000 sons, they must have had some past. And so the Bhagavatam here is saying that their mind got purified. Upasparshana deva, vinirdhuta. Vinirdhuta means fully washed, cleansed, destroyed. What? Malashayaha. All the malas. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all these impurities gone. And so they had not only impurities destroyed, but the desire to know the dharma of the Paramahamsas, meaning what is the path that the ascetics follow. That desire also arose in them. But they had been given a job. And what is their duty? The duty the father told them is you have to procreate and bring out children. Bring forth the children. Now we discussed this earlier also. In Bhagavatam, everywhere, wherever the child has to be brought forth, first that person goes and worships Bhagavan. Kardam Rishi also did that. Prachetas also did that. Here also you see this. Haryashvas, they are also doing that. Like that, so many places you will see. First they will go and pray to Bhagavan. Now they are doing this tapasya. And te pire tapa evagram pitradeshena yantritaha. Because the father's command was there, they continue to do the austerity. Why do they do that? Because first and foremost, one has to understand that this is Srishti is Bhagwan's Srishti. Children who are born to me are born by Bhagwan's Kripa. They have their own baggage. And Bhagwan's Srishti, Bhagwan only will carry forward. I am only a nimitta. So the child who is born to take forward Bhagwan's Srishti, not my personal ambition. See the mindset. Impact what it will have. Otherwise, and that's why Garbhadhan Samskar also is there. The first Samskar is Garbhadhan Samskar. And fourth, let the noble souls come into the world so that the world will be benefited by them. Now, if that is the clarity, just think about it. Will that already that person is devoted to Bhagavan? The child who will be born and the way this person will bring up the child, will it not be different? Otherwise, how much of mamata and possessiveness and attachment, my child, it should be like this, my child should do like this, should not do like this, should become this only. It is, one is that child is born with Bhagavad Kripa. If one thinks that our Purushartha brings children, that is a very small part. Which jiva has to be connected to which one? Who decides that? Our karma also, if we say, Bhagwan only brings all these jivas together, no? Then only the experience of samsara will happen for us. Somebody is my father, mother, sister, sibling, friend, guru, teacher, society, all, so many karmas are intertwined. Who makes all this happen? Bhagwan only makes it happen. So if we understand that very clearly, then this possessiveness will go. And if it has already been done before, the seed only in the mind is that this is by Bhagavad Kripa only this happened. And this child belongs to Bhagwan. I am only a caretaker. That's all. No attachment then. Do the best, leave the rest. Now, These children, they are doing 10,000 Haryashvas, they are worshipping Bhagavan. They are still doing what they have to do because that is the command of the father. And there what happens? Naradji comes there, you see. Raja vivriddhaye yattan devarshistan dadarshaha. Naradji saw them. See, one sign of the mind becoming purified is satsang will come into one's life. Some sadhu mahatma will also come in one's life. They are worshipping Bhagwan. They went to Narayan Sara and there they took a dubki and they are doing austerities. They didn't ask for any satsang sadhu mahatma to come, and Ananya Bhakta of Bhagwan Naradji himself has come there. Which also happens because punya karma increases, papa karma gets destroyed. Direct result is, you see this. If punya karma is not enough, one will not get only satsang in one's life. And punya karma, you see here in this, when the karma is destroyed, papa karma is destroyed, punya is increased. Both will happen in a tirthasthan. Even now, if you see in Kumbh, so many people will go there. One is to do snan. There is also to meet Mahatmas, satsang. And one will find appropriate to one's evolution level, one's punya karma. One will find appropriate sadhus there. If it is not enough, one will not find. One will see them and one will do snan, come out. So many possibilities are there in that. Here you see Naradji himself has come there. They have not called. But when the papa gets destroyed, punya increases, then satsang comes into life. Then the desire to live the higher way of life, like it is given here, no? That dharme paramhamsya cha pra utpannam. It increases, it arises. Pure mind will have jignasa. Pure mind will want to surrender. Pure mind will want to realize the truth. Pure mind will be reflective. All these qualities you will see now in this Haryashvas. So, Naradji came there. Uvacha chatha Haryashvaha katham styakshyatha vai prajaha adrishtantam bhuvo yuyam balisha bata palakaha. Now Naradji will give them analogies. Very strange analogies he gives now. If you read this analogy, one will think, what is he saying? But these Haryashvas, they thought on this, reflected on this, and a very deep conclusion they derived. Very amazing. You see the analogy that he gives now. Naradji, he saw that they want to increase the population. So he says that first analogy he gives is adrishtantam bhuvo. You have not seen the end of the earth. How will you beget progeny? First analogy. Second analogy, he says, tathaika purusham rashtram bilam cha drishta nirgamam bahurupam striyam chapi pumamsam pumschali patim. Second analogy he gives is, without knowing the country inhabited by one person, then there is a hole without any outlet. Then there is a woman who is assuming at will different forms. And then there is a man who is the husband of a prostitute. Then Nadim Ubhayato Vaham. There is a river which is flowing in opposite directions. Simultaneously, like this it is flowing. One is coming like this, one is going like this also. Simultaneously in the opposite direction. Then Pancha Panchadbhutam Graham. A house made up of 25 things. Then Graham. Then Kvachid hamsam chitra katham. There is a talking swan. So there's a play. So there's a talking swan, and it has a very strange story to tell. Kshaurapavyam swayam uh, brahmim, and something which is very exceptionally sharp and strong is rotating round, round, round above one's head. That's what he says. Katham swa pituradesham vidvamso vipaschitaha anurupam avijnaya aho sargam karishyatha. How will you follow the father's instructions when you don't know any of these things? Without understanding this, all these analogies, he said, how will you go ahead with this creation? If you actually think about it, what Naradji said, if if we have to just think and reflect on it, imagine what conclusion will we derive from this? You may think, kya hai ye? Because very weird things he has said here. Without going to the end of the earth, then a country inhabited by a single person, whole without a visible effect, woman assuming different forms, man who is a husband of this prostitute, then the river running in both the ways, then house built of 25 materials, swan at one place which is talking, which has a strange story to tell, and then something which is exceptionally smart which is going on revolving above the head. All these 8 things he has said. Now this Haryashvas, they start thinking that what he is saying is true. For each analogy they derive a powerful lesson. Now you see here, Shri Shuka Uvacha Tannishamyata Haryashva Atma Autpattikamanishaya Vachakutam tu devarshehe Swayam Vimamrishurdhiya. They started thinking. They said, what is he saying? It is true only. With their quiet mind, they started reflecting. When they heard these inspiring words from Naradji, they started thinking. Why? Because their mind has got purified, no, now. So, bhuhu kshetram jiva sanyam yad anadi nija bandhanam adrishtva tasya nirvanam kim satkarma bhir bhavet. So they reflected and they said that not knowing the end of the earth means what? Earth is karma bhumi. It is a place to do karma. So bhuhu kshetram jiva sanyam. And in this bhu kshetra, one will keep on doing karmas. Karmas don't have an end. Every karma will give rise to more karmas. And so they understood that this earth is the field, and in this, the jiva who does karma attains his merit and sin, and because of karta bhav, the jiva is doing karmas, and every karma is going to create more and more and more and more of karma. And so he says here, they understand here that this jiva who has existed from remote antiquity and serves as a fetter for the soul, this karma bandhan, the jiva is bound in that. Without destroying that karma bandhan, without seeing its extinction. So, without seeing the end of the earth means what? You don't have to go to the end of the earth. There is no end. It's a whatever. It's a sphere. No? How will you find one end in that? So, it's not literal meaning. The meaning is what? That earth is symbolic of karma. It is called karma bhumi, and the jiva is born here because of karma. And now the jiva is doing karma here. As a human being, one has a chance to create more karma or to get out of karmic cycle. So now they first think that, oh, this is what Naradji means, that we should come out of this karmic bondage. So the first analogy they have understood. Oh, this is what it is. Now this goes on. Now they will keep thinking like this for all the analogies and the conclusion that they will derive. So first analogy is done. Now, which is the country which has one ruler? Meaning one person. So the point here was the country inhabited by a single person. It doesn't mean again literally there's only one person staying in the whole country. So what does that mean here now? That Bhagwan is the first and foremost the only ruler of this whole world, the supreme ruler. And who is that Bhagwan? He is the witness of the three states of consciousness, three bodies, three gunas, and he is the one who is beyond all the three, the fourth state of consciousness, where he alone, that truth alone is. See that. Eka eva Eka eveshwarasturyoho Eka eveshwarasturyo Bhagavan swashraya paraha tam adrishtva bhavam pumsaha kim sat karma bhir bhavet kim asat karma bhir bhavet asat karma bhir kim bhavet. What is the point of doing so many karmas if I don't know that Lord who is swashraya, who is self caused, who doesn't have any other cause, but who alone is, and who alone appears as the whole universe also. So there's only one Purusha. What is the use of what is the use of doing so many karmas and not knowing that Supreme Lord? So that is the next analogy that they have deciphered. Without seeing him who is eternally free from birth and death, what purpose can be achieved by man through useless activity? Asat karma is what he said. Now, useless activity it is. That is second analogy. Now, the third analogy. Puman naivaiti yad gatva bilaswargam gato yatha pratyak dhama vida iha kima sat karma bhir bhavet. See this whole portion from this verse number 11 up to verse number 19 is 10 verses. All the verses end with this last quarter. Kima sat karma bhir bhavet. What will we do with useless activity? So if somebody has great karma asakti, one should read this portion and reflect. These Haryashvas don't even have the asakti for karma. They are doing what the father wanted them to do. Okay, you bring forth children. But when they got the company of Naradji, satsang they got. Now see the impact. Father wanted them to have progeny. Now they are thinking, okay, what is the use of having progeny and increasing the samsara when I don't know the most fundamental things? Karma will lead to more bondage, and having got a human birth, I can exit out of karma. Not that it cannot happen with grahastha ashram. That's not the point here. The point here is thinking that what they reflected upon. Then the second analogy, which is that land which has only one ruler, one person, that is Bhagwan alone. Only one is appearing as the many. I am seeing the many, but I don't know who is that one. And who is that one beyond cause, beyond effect, the supreme ruler of everything, the witness of the three states, the fourth state of transcendence, that Bhagwan, I don't know, then what is the point? Then the third is the whole which has no end. See, that was the third, a whole without visible outlet. So what does that third analogy mean now? Everywhere we go, whichever loka we will go to, finally one will be again born till the Jivan Mukti is not attained, till one doesn't realize Brahman, infinite consciousness. That is the Dhamma, going where there is no return. No outlet means what? Once you go there, you can't come back. That's what it means. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Dvaitin will say Vaikuntha is that loka. Vedantin will say no, Brahman is that infinite consciousness, realizing which there is no rebirth again, there is no falling back into cycle of birth and death. There is no Janma Mrityu, there are no lokas, there is no Srishti, there is no duality. Finished. Brahman is the ultimate. That is the hole without outlet. Then you go in but you can't come out. Now, if we start thinking, what is that like that? It must be a black hole. Array, black hole may also things will come out actually. It's just that the speed is so much inside that, and so it appears that things get lost inside a black hole. Anyway, that's not a point here. Point here is that this is referring to Brahman. Brahman is that realizing which there is no coming back. So what is the use of all activities if I can't realize Brahman? So that is their conclusion here now. Bilam chadrishta nirgamam. So that was the third analogy. Then what is the fourth analogy here? The woman assuming different forms. Bahurupam Sriyam Chapi. Now who is that woman assuming different forms? So Nana Rupatmano Buddhihi Swairiniva Gunanvita Tannishtham Agatasyeha Kimasat Karma Bhir Bhavet. This Buddhi is that woman. Now don't suddenly go saying, why is it Buddhi called like that? Why is it not a man? Arey, Buddhi word is feminine, Baba, in that. Otherwise, Buddhi doesn't have a gender. Our man also has Buddhi, woman also has Buddhi. Buddhi is not gender specific. The word Buddhi is feminine. So it said here that Nana Rupatmano Buddhi. So the intellect of the Jiva, which has three gunas, Gunanvita. Now that intellect of the Jiva takes the shape of various objects of the senses. Means what? What Vedanta says, that this mind and intellect go out through the senses, envelop the object, and then the impression is created. So the mind has to become like that for us to experience. Meaning what? If I'm seeing this computer, the mind and intellect through the senses goes out, envelopes this computer, a computer vritti will be formed in the mind, then only I will recognize this is a computer. So it will become like that, meaning the vritti will take that form, tadakara it will become. So like that every day this buddhi is taking how many forms? As many objects it is experiencing, that many forms this buddhi is taking. So that's what he says, Nana Rupatmano Buddhi Swairiniva Gunanvita. And it takes the form of various objects of senses. He is like a wanton woman appearing in various attractive guises, possessed of many alluring qualities. Meaning the senses which are, so the buddhi which is extroverted will go out through the senses and create more and more desire for sense objects. And then one has to work hard to get this sense object. Anything, food, drink, movie, money, power, position, whatever it is, it will go out. And so it takes various forms. And now to fulfill that desire for all these, once it sees, once it experiences it within, then one says, oh, I must have it, I must enjoy this, I must go here, I must go there. Then karma will start. So now they say, what is the use? This buddhi is only going to create more and more trouble. The whole point is what? They are thinking like the vairagis. Because that's what the shloka said here, na? Dharme paramahamsyecha. Who will think like this? Those who have vairagya only will think like this. Otherwise, pravritti marg, so this is normal. Happily one will engage in karma. Eat, drink, be merry, expand, create more power, name, fame, everything. But they took bath in that sarovar. Their mind got purified and their jignasa to know what is the dharma of the Paramahamsas. Now see another point there. Now, the moment that jignasa has come that we want to know what is the dharma of Paramahamsas, A Paramahamsa has come into their life, uncalled. They didn't go in search of who is this Paramahamsa who can give me enlightenment. Nothing. Naradji came straight. Even today that will happen. If Gurudev, that's why he used to say that you cultivate discipleship, you become like a flower and you bloom. The bee will come automatically. Flower doesn't have to go and publicize. Flower doesn't have to go hunting for bee. The bee will come automatically. One has to do this. So now, these are the way in which Paramahamsas they will think that this buddhi so is going out through the mind, through the senses and taking the form of the object and then increasing my karmic bondage. And obviously, if one is a grahasthi, one can't stop engaging through the senses. But that's where Karma Yoga comes into play, where one does everything dedicated to Bhagavan, and anything that is not conducive for duty or for devotion or for sadhana, one will avoid that. Do bare minimum what is required and offer that to Bhagavan. So, karma by itself is not a problem, engaging through senses by itself is not a problem. But forgetting Bhagavan, that is a problem. And here, those who are having that capability and vairagya, they will say, no need, what's the use of this karma? We just sit and do dhyan. In dhyan only they are thinking all this. So whatever little rajoguna which is also there in them, that will also get destroyed through this reflection. Then, it was said about a man who is the husband of this prostitute. See that. Even so, the man who is the husband of a harlot. Now, who is that? Tatsanga Bhramshitaishwaryam Samsarantam Kubharyavat Tadgatir Abudhasyeha Kimasat Karma Bhir Bhavet. So, they think that what is to be gained through these useless, indiscriminate acts of by the man who does not recognize himself as having fallen from his greatness through identification with such an intellect and follows like the husband of an unchaste woman its courses. Means I, the individuality, which has got identified with such an extroverted buddhi and who then goes out through the buddhi to keep on enjoying the world. He says, what is the use of this Jiva Bhav, Mr. So and so, who is identified with this buddhi? Then it was the next analogy that is given is the river that is running in both ways. So what is that river? Srishtyapyayakarim mayam vela kulanta vegitam mattasya tam avijnasya kimasat karma bhir bhavet. Just think what is the meaning here. River that is flowing opposite directions. Srishti and Aya. Apyaya. So, Srishtyaapyaya Karim Mayam. Srishtyaapyaya means creation, dissolution. So, one side creation, one side dissolution. And it is not happening sequentially. See that analogy. What a powerful analogy he has given. Huh? It is not that the river is running in one direction once and then another direction later on. No. It is running at the same time in two directions. Two opposite directions. One is like this, one is like this. Same time. Oh Swamiji, it must be coming from one side like this, one side like this. One tributary like that, one tributary like that. That is not the point here. The point here is Srishti and Vinasha is happening at the same time. In our thinking, this is sequential process. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. That is one way of understanding. But the deeper way of understanding is Srishti, Sthiti, Laya is happening every single moment. Srishti, as the Srishti is happening, the previous one is destroyed, new one is created. Again this gone, new one created. This gone, new one created. It keeps happening simultaneous. Which means the whole world is perishable. Completely perishable. Not only perishable, perishing. That is the point here. It is perishing right now. Immediate, as we are seeing it also, it is perishing. That's called drashta nashta swabhava. It's not perishable. This body of ours also, oh Swami is Srishti. No, Srishti means this body also. Thought also. Rises, falls, rises, falls, rises, falls every minute. So many cells are born, dead. They just go on. This play of Srishti and Vinash keeps happening continuously. There is no new Srishti without Vinash, and there is no Vinash without new Srishti. This is going on. This is Maya. That's why he says, Srishtya Pyaya Karim Mayam. Vela Akula Anta Vegitam. Huh. So this is the opposite direction in which it flows. What can be achieved through useless actions by the man who is so forgetful under the sway of Maya that he fails to recognize the fruitlessness of this Maya, which brings about both creation and destruction, thus flowing both forward and backward, and acquires great impetuosity in the shape of unusual outbursts of anger, pride, all this. Near the ghats and the banks of its stream. See, that is the thing. Mattasya tam avignyasya. Now, again, caught in this cycle of Maya, in this Srishti and Laya. The Jiva who recognizes that Srishti and Laya is happening every minute, and I, the witness of it, is changeless, destructionless, that Jiva is freed. But if one identifies with the BMI, then one is a part of that river. Then this cycle will continue for that Jiva. So that is the next analogy. Then what is the house made up of 25 elements? Panchavimshati tattvanam purushodbhuta darpanam adhyatmam abudhasya iha kimasat karma bhir bhavet. Very powerful each one analogy. One goes on reflecting, one will definitely get vairagya. So this is referring to Sankhya. 25 tattvas. In that, the Purusha is the mirror. So when it is said here, na, Adbhuta Darpanam, Purusha Adbhuta Darpanam. Purusha is the fascinating mirror of the 25 categories which make this human personality, which is what? The Jivatma, then this Avyakta, then this Mahat Tattva, then the Ahankara, then the 5 subtle elements, then the mind, then the 10 senses, and the 5 gross elements. All these 25 tattvas. So this house, means this body, is made up of these 25 aspects. Now these 25 aspects, all these 25 aspects by themselves are Jadavastu. They cannot function on their own. They function because of Purusha. Sankhya will say Purusha is subservient to Prakriti, and Purusha in each Prakriti is different. But Vedanta says no, Purusha is the untouched, unaffected entity whose power is Prakriti, and this Prakriti by itself is Jadavastu. It becomes enlivened by Purusha, and hence the Purusha and hence the Prakriti is able to function. Now, not knowing that Purusha even identifies with Prakriti, Prakriti by itself is Jadavastu, it is perishable also, perishing in fact. So what is the use of karma, getting identified with this, not knowing the Purusha? So that's the point there. Because this body is only a collection of cause and effect, meaning the body is made up of 5 elements. 5 elements is made up of subtle 5 elements. Subtle 5 elements came from Prakriti. Prakriti is the power of Purusha. Now the Purusha I don't know. The ultimate cause, causeless cause, that I don't know. Everything else I know. That also we know we only if we come to satsang. Otherwise, who knows? We only know this physical body, that's all. That there is a mind, intellect, memory, ego, nobody knows Till we don't come to satsang, we won't know any of this, because they don't tell us all this in any other subject. Maximum, if some introduction is there to the mind, okay, there's a mind, but mind, what is a mind and what is a brain, that difference also one doesn't know. One is subtle, one is gross, that also one doesn't know. Then where to talk about avyakta and mahat and this ahankara, and then five sukshma, uh, you know, tanmatras, and then panchikarana process happens, then they become gross five elements, then the body is made from that, and the mind is made from subtle five elements. Where does one know any of this? No school teaches any of this. So one will not know only. And this Haryashva, they are wondering what is the use of knowing Prakriti but not knowing Purusha, one who makes all this happen. So what is to be gained here through useless actions? Where one thinks, I am that Karta, I am the Bhokta, I am the Prakriti, and Purusha is subservient to Prakriti, is useless, that is no point. Then Aishwaram Shastram Utsrijya Bandha Mokshanu Darshanam Vivikta Padam Agnyaya Kimasat Karma Bhir Bhavet. Now, ignoring the body of teachings, the Shastra, and establishing the existence of God, which not only distinguishes spirit from matter, like the swan, like that talking swan which is given, na? The analogy is talking swan. A swan, what will it do? It will separate milk from water. Same way, Purusha and Prakriti has to be separated to understand, oh, I am Purusha, I am not this Prakriti. Today, identified fully with Prakriti, one is saying, where is Purusha? Which Purusha? No Purusha only. So, here he says that even as a swan, according to the traditional belief, separates milk from water, where the two are mixed, in that way we have to separate spirit from matter. But further enables one to perceive the true nature of bondage and liberation. Study of the scripture will help a person to understand what is bandhan, to be identified with Prakriti, with the cause and effect is bandhan. To know the causeless cause and to know the Purusha as my true self, that is mukti. And who will tell us that? Shastra will tell us that. So he says, without knowing all this, ignoring all the scripture, what is the use of activity? Think about this. Some of this is not only for vairagya to attain mukti, but even fundamental things. Should our children not learn about Purusha and Prakriti? Should they not know about what is law of karma? Should they not know how to get out of karmic bondage? Should they not know that this buddhi can be used to achieve realization also, or to increase our karmic bondage? That this body and this mind, this whole personality is made up of 25 tattvas. They should know all this. A mukti is a different point. Even fundamental knowledge of this, if it is there, then one knows how to handle oneself and one's life. Otherwise, today what is happening? None of this knowledge is there. More and more desires are being fueled in their minds, and tremendous pressure. Everybody wants the child to become successful and become the topper and go-getter and all that. And the pressure is so much. People are getting into mental health issues, depression, drugs, suicidal tendencies, all that. And to get out from that, maximum what will one do? Go learn some kriya, do some yoga, do some pranayam. Oh, I feel so good, I feel so transformed. No doubt pranayam, yoga, everything will help. But knowledge chahiye, clarity chahiye, purpose has to be clear. The deeper aspects of my personality should be clear to me. Then I can walk the path. My goal must be clear to me. What is mukti? That only is not clear. If I just want some temporary relief from stress, worry, tension, anxiety, that can only be a temporary little step. Main goal is what? That comes through clarity, this knowledge, studying the scripture. Such a powerful line it is, na, that Aishwaram Shastram Utsrijya. Today, to Shastra Utsrijya, one is taking pride in that. I don't believe in the scripture, it is age old, I am scientific, modern outlook, wow, wow, wow. Solution तो है नहीं for all the modern challenges which are there. Most of them have risen because of the lack of clarity. Why lack of clarity? Because we have not opened the scripture. Even all this, how much one depends on opinions of people, and that also people who have half-baked knowledge. And one is leading life based on that. Look at that. One doesn't even know which book to open and read for which purpose. If I want to know the Mahima of Tirtharaj Prayag, which book should I open? One will not know. Even I did not know till some time back. Then we start finding out, read, so many Puranas are there. Skanda Puran gives, Varaha Puran gives, Matsya Puran gives full Tirtha Yatra Mahima, Prayagraj Mahima, all that is given beautifully. Then we'll understand, oh, this is what it is. Who gave the name Prayagraj to that place? Think. Shivji and Vishnu Bhagwan have named that place as Prayag. Because countless yajnas Brahmaji has done there. And it will elevate the jiva, give mukti to that jiva. So much dan, dakshina, punya, everything, when one has done there, yajnas, etc., one has done, one will get that much of punya. And it is a Tirth Raj. The blessing of going to all the Tirtha sthans one gets by going to Prayagraj. And the Shastra says even that level that if one does not go to Prayagraj and goes to every other Tirtha sthan, one will still not get mukti. That's the Mahatmya of Prayag. I'm not saying in Kumbh only. I'm saying in general, Prayagraj Mahatmya, it is said. That's why it's called the Raja, Tirthraj Prayag. Now, which book to open to understand what? Where is Kumbh mentioned? Which yoga, Kumbh yoga it is called? Like today, Kumbh yoga will end. How do we know? It goes on up to 26th February this year because of Mahashivratri. So it has been decided to do up to 26, but Kumbh Yoga will end today. Oh Swamiji, but I am going afterwards to do. Will I not get the benefit? Arey, you will still get punya because Ganga ji is there, Triveni is there, Prayagraj is there. Go and do the japa, do the sadhana, do the snan. But be clear, Kumbh Yoga is at certain time. Don't get carried away by anything that people are saying. 1 month is that Kumbh Yoga time. From that Magh Purnima to this Paush Purnima. 1 month. Because Jupiter will be in that, 12 years it will take to complete one circle. And that sun will be there in the Makar Rashi for 1 month. Then it will change. And that astronomical positions of Jupiter and Sun, that determines the Kumbh Yoga. So we have to be clear. If we ignore the Shastra, then all kinds of confusion we will end up in. Then those people who don't even have the Shastra in their religion, to the depth in which we have, understandable, they go through difficulty. We have the Shastra in its full depth, but we are not going into it. So when he says here, no, ignoring the Shastra, what is the use of so many activities? We have to think for ourselves also. Last one here. Kala Chakram Bhramit Kala Chakram Bhramistikshnam Sarvam Nishkarsha Yad Jagat Swatantram Abudhasyeha Kimasat Karma Bhir Bhavet. What is that chakra that is going round above our head? That is Kala Chakra. It has sharp razor. It is going on from the moment we are born, that time has started, and steadily it is taking us towards death. It is body. So he says here that What will be gained here through useless actions, whose fruit is swept away by the ravages of time, by him who has no knowledge of the wheel of time, which is ever revolving, sharp-edged and independent and destroys the whole creation, and who resorts to various activities under the belief that their fruit is eternal. Kala Chakra destroys everything. Karma Phala also will be limited. That will also end. Body also will end. We live as though we never are going to die, and we die as though we never lived. That is Kala Chakra. The play of Maya is like that. So all this now he has reflected upon this 10,000 children. All of them they have reflected upon this. And what has happened now? Because they have reflected in this way, how can he who does not know the precepts of his second father, the Shastra? Shastra is the second father. That is one more analogy given here. When one has not heard the Guru and the Shastra, and one is not following these, then what is the use of so many activities? That is a point here. And how can he who does not know the precepts of his second father, the Shastra? Why is the Shastra called a second father? Because the Guru and the scripture will initiate that student into the Janevu Samskar, and that person is called Dvija. The second is twice born. Once the Janevu Samskar, when the Upanayana Samskar is done, then the person gets the ability and the eligibility to study the Shastra and the Veda. Parents will give the first birth, the physical birth. The spiritual birth is given by the Guru, and that's why the Guru is considered father. When we say Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva, it is called it is because the Guru is the father. And that's why there are two paramparas. One is Bindu Parampara, one is Nada Parampara. What is Bindu Parampara? Through the Bindu, through the physical conception, the physical birth we have attained. That is the parents, the parents who have given birth to the body. Nada Parampara is the Guru who initiates the student into the Gayatri Mantra. Then chanting that mantra, one prepares the mind, studies the Shastra, and gets out of the cycle of birth and death. That's why the Guru and the Shastra are so much more one gives importance to and surrenders to. So he says here that how can one who does not know the precepts of his second father, the Shastra, which invests him with a second body in the shape of the sacred thread, and whose advice is as salutary as that of a father, precepts that turn him away from worldly activity, and who has faith in the path of worldly activity, proceed to act in conformity with such precepts. The person will not live by the Shastra when one doesn't know the significance, one is ignoring the scripture. In this way, what did the Haryashvas do? They all got vairagya. So, iti vyavasita rajan Haryashva ekachetasa, single pointed their mind was, we want mukti. We don't want to take the creation forward. Now Daksha Prajapati told them to take creation forward, but he says, what is the use of all this activity? These 8 analogies that Naradji gave, they reflected and they said, this is not of any use till we attain mukti. So, prayayustam parikramya panthanam anivartanam. They did pradakshina of Naradji and they went on a path from where there is no return, meaning they renounced the world and came to realize the truth. See that. Thus resolved, who were of one mind, went around the sage and took to the path of God realization, which does not bring one back to the mortal plane. Having fixed his undivided mind on the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, as revealed in the notes of the gamut, which stand as a symbol of the all-pervading Brahman, the sage Narad went about all the spheres. Naradji went his way, disciples went their way. So this one portion ends here about Daksha Prajapati and his sons. Now Daksha Prajapati comes to know, now he wonders, all these children are renounced. But he has to do his duty. So he brings forth more children. What happens after that? We'll see in our next satsang. This portion is very interesting, especially if one reflects on these analogies. Now, very unique analogies these are. Homework for us should have been that, okay, read this analogy, reflect on these analogies on one's own, and then see what is the meaning. Are we able to make any sense out of this or not? Here, though, immediately in the chapter only it is given, the explanation is given. But what this Haryashvas thought, interesting, now how they concluded, that is a sign of a pure mind. The Guru gave a little hint, that's all. No deeper explanations. The mind which is ready, pure, got it, immediately got it. And acted upon it also, renounced the world. That is a sign of purity. And that's why purity is so important. That's why punya is so important. Okay, so for now we will stop here and do the arti.
प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति धूम की मंगल कांति हसनी दसनन की मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की मंगल आरती मंगल बणिक त्रिभंगी हरि की मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी मंगल आरती पभी अंग अंग की मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की मंगल अति कटि पियरे पट की मंगल चितमणि नागर नट की मंगल आरती मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की मंगल माधुरी मृदुल पैन की मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की मंगल आरती मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की मंगल जुगल प्रिया भावन की मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति डोल की मंगल आरती मंगल आरती राधावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम् नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयम् अग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की।
Yes, Jyotsna ji.
Swamiji, when they say that you should separate from Purush and Prakriti, is that when you realize Purusha, the self, you are free from the bondage of death. Like in so many scriptures, we read that you are free from the bondage of death. Is that what it means to be able to realize the self and distinguish between Purusha and Prakriti?
So that's the result of distinguishing between Purusha and Prakriti, freedom or mukti. Uh, the distinguishing or the separation means to understand that Prakriti is not me, I am Purusha. Today I think I am the Prakriti, this body is me. Body is actually Prakriti, it is not me. So to
Okay.
understand that difference, that is called discrimination. Like if one says, ki, okay, this bottle, now one thinks I am the bottle. To know clearly, the bottle is different from me, I am different from the bottle. That separation has to happen. Right now, this has got mixed up. Now I am thinking of myself as a Prakriti and I don't know who is a Purusha. So I have to separate out. No, this is not me. This is Prakriti, which is Jadavastu, which is Vikari. I am Avikari, Avinashi. I am Purusha. That is the discrimination. That is Vivek. Atma and Atma Vivek, what we call that.
So once you do that,
Result of
self,
that
you will.
will be vairagya from Prakriti and then realization of the Purusha, and then the result of that is freedom from cycle of birth and death.
That's what they keep saying in the Upanishads and all, that if you do this, you will get over the fear of death. There will be no bondage.
Correct.
All those terms they use is basically means this only.
Correct.
And Swamiji, if one goes to the Paragraj, the Triveni, now the Sangam, is it okay or one should go now later since that main Kumbh part is done? Now the Mahakumbh is over.
See, the Kumbh Yoga is over. If
Hmm.
you want to go now, you can still go because there will be some sadhus, Mahatmas who are still there. You will meet them, you can have satsang, or you can see how the people come, you see the shraddha of people. At any other time one goes, one doesn't see this kind of a gathering. So gathering will be on up to 26th. Many Kalpavasis will finish their Kalpavas today and they will also start leaving. And so relatively the overcrowding that is there because of today's last Amrit Snan as well as tomorrow by the time people leave everything. So that overcrowding will not be there, but still there will be quite a few people who will be there. So if you still wants to go, one can go till 26th March, no problem, one can go.
But Swamiji, they say it's terrible, the stampedes, the people, it takes so long to reach the.
I am telling you, all that is just hype of people, that's all. You go
Okay.
and see how many people have gone there, then only have understood. And
Okay.
stampede was also apparently there was a conspiracy just to bring a bad name.
Okay.
It is not that the organizing is not good. I've been there. I'm seeing. I'm 6 days. I was there. Mauni Amavasya, the main day of Snan, I was there. The morning
Okay.
when that stampede happened in Sangam,
Hmm.
that is a different point. I was there in Mauni Amavasya day, and I went to the nearest ghat that where we were staying. There was no such chaos and nothing. Beautifully organized. Everything is. Yes, crowd is there. We should be patient. That's all. What else? And there should be little. There will be little bit here and there. Some amount of group which is going. You won't have full freedom all the time. You will be between people, but that's a small portion when you're crossing a bridge or something like that. Otherwise, it's vast. It is such a vast place. Aram se you keep moving. And in so many days, everything has happened so beautifully except that one incident, whatever had happened. So don't get scared with all this. Government is doing whatever best they can. People also have to cooperate. And there are a lot of people who are coming with Shraddha. They are putting up with difficulties, whatever they go through. But they are not complaining. We people who are in the cities, we are only sitting and thinking all these things. You look at the villagers, so many of them who come there, what Shraddha they have. I really hats off to them, Baba. They come with everything. Many of them, they carry their blanket, bed sheet, stove, raw material, everything. And they come, they stay out on the banks, ghats. They put up their blankets and they are sleeping out in that cold and early morning getting up, cooking for themselves, and then they go take the snan and then they go back. None of them are complaining anything. You listen to most of them, they are saying, Aisa kumbh to humne dekha hi nahi. And so many elderly people and all are coming there. So, nothing wrong in having caution, but don't get scared. If we are ready for some little bit of patience and forbearance, beautifully everything goes on.
So it's one should make an effort to go now before the 26th of February.
If you have already done any bookings, etc., then you go there. If you have
No,
not,
I'm not.
then don't worry, because if you don't get bookings right now, don't struggle and go there. If you're getting in, then go.
Okay, otherwise one can go another time later. Like you're saying, this is the
Arey,
May.
this Kumbh will keep coming every 12 years.
Right.
There is
Okay.
no proof of 144 years and all that. There is only 12 years ka Kumbh, that's all.
Okay, so but even if one goes 2 months later, it's okay if one can't go now.
Yeah, anytime you can go to Tirthraj Prayag. That to Mahima of Prayagraj, Mahima of Gangaji, Mahima of Triveni Sangam is there 24 by 7, 365 days. Only
Okay.
this coming together, that collective energy and the sadhus and the satsang and that kind of a thing is not there. If you want to experience even that in a limited way, go next year during during this month of Magh. Magh Mela happens for 1 month there. Every year in Kumbh, in Prayagraj. Not Kumbh, sorry, in Prayagraj. There also you will see so many sadhus come, the Mahatmas, they live, the people are there, they are doing the sadhana, they are doing Triveni Sangam. Every year it goes on. So go that time if you want that collective energy. If you want peace, quietude, go at other times. Don't go in monsoon, that's all.
Okay, let's see now what happens. One has set an intent, let's see what happens. And Swamiji, did you also come across one of these very saintly people or any
So there are many sadhus there. Um, Jivan Muktas and also it, some of them they come. We met a few sadhus. We did some satsang. We learned from them. Um, yeah, that happened.
you all met some enlightened souls, Swamiji?
We can't sit and judge who is enlightened and who is not. One should do satsang.
Hmm.
That's all.
Okay.
One keeps doing satsang. One keeps meeting Mahatmas. Take their blessings. That's all.
Okay. Hari Om. Thank you, Swamiji. Let's see what happens if one goes or not.
Right. Srijata ji, you had a question.
Um, Hari Om, Swamiji. My question is that can you explain who are Kalpavasis? I was very curious about it, but couldn't get any answer about it.
Kalpavasis are those who will do 1 month sadhana there in Kumbh, where they will come Paush Purnima to Magh Purnima. Sorry, Paush Purnima to Magh Purnima. They will stay 1 month, and they will every single day take bath in the Ganga. They will do Anushthan, Ishta Mantras Japa. They will eat only one meal of cereal in a day. Sometimes they may take fruits, milk at other time. They will sleep generally on the ground, and they will listen to the satsangs, and they will stay there 1 month full. Like this, 12 years they will do every single year, one full month of sadhana. This will give them the benefit of the sadhana done for one kalpa, which is the sadhana of 1,000 Chaturyugis, which is 1 day of Brahmaji. That's why it is called Kalpavas. And if any one particular year their sadhana does not happen, they are not able to go to that Magh Mela and then do the sadhana, the count will start from one again.
Wow.
So it has to be 12 continuous years. And there are people who have done 2 kalpavases, 3 kalpavases. There are people, that's the point of going to Kumbh. You meet kalpavasis, you see their life, you see their sadhana. We will get humbled completely saying, Arey Baap Re, look at these people, what level of sadhana they are doing. हमको
Their
लगता है
purpose?
हमने एक दिया लगा दिया और एक माला कर दिया तो हम बड़े साधक बन गए. They are doing that sadhana एक एक महीना. You stay in Kumbh 1 month and see what cold it is, Baba. And there they go and take bath every single day. It's tremendous.
This is Swamiji for self-realization.
Of course. One is realization. Others, some people have other desires also. They want some child, some mukti, some money, some promotion. It can be sakam karma also. or it can be just love for Bhagavan, or it can be for absolute mukti. Different people have different bhavana, but they will do sadhana there.
See.
They will have a tulsi in front of their house, their tent where they are staying. They will nurture it every day. They will sow some jawarka seeds or the different seeds they will put, and they will grow that every day. Then they will offer that and then to Bhagwan or to Ganga Ji. Like that, they have one full this thing. Madhav, Veni Madhav ka darshan every day they will go and do. After Snan, they will go to do Veni Madhav Ji darshan, then they come back, then they do the sadhana. It is
Great.
tough sadhana to do, Kalpavas sadhana.
Thank you, Swamiji. Pranam, Swamiji.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om